to the goofball army out there. Hi at the families. Tell them to get to the next room. Tell them to go to your neighbors because we got goofball news to go over, and it might get crazy.
Typically does, guys. If it's your first episode ever, you got like 30 seconds before we start, so not enough time to go to the bathroom, but go get a drink because trust me, you're probably going to need it there. In the meantime, the rest, if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell. That way you know about future episodes as well, guys. Buckle your seatbelts if you haven't already. Make sure your tray is in the upright position here, guys, because we are just about ready to get going. And like, oof.
Guys, if you want a crazy ride going forward, a bunch of nonsense, but all nothing but the truth about the Giants, listen in, buckle in, tell a friend.
Let's go.
And now, here are your goofball hosts, Drew and Rob.
Welcome, fellow goofballs, to Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. I am Drew, joined as always by
me, Rob, and I guess we have to start draft day another day.
Yeah, we thought we were going to start draft talk today, but geez, rumors just coming out left and right here. We almost got players. There's still rumors we might still get other players. There's all kinds of stuff just rolling on through here. So just when you thought you're ready to move on to the draft, they suck you back in.
So right back.
Who knows? Maybe that'll be tomorrow. Hopefully so. If not, listen, I should say hopefully, because if not, it means something big happened tomorrow. And, you know, that's not necessarily a bad thing either. So we'll get into all the rumors here going all around with the New York Giants here. All right, so we're going to start off with the big one today. That was kind of the rolling ball like in Indiana Jones here, the pending big thing that just didn't quite hit. And that's the trade that went down today with the Rams and the Chiefs for cornerback Trent McDuffie, who's, listen, one of the better corners in this league, and quite frankly, any team's lucky to have him. The Rams gave up not a king's ransom, but a king and a queen ransom to go ahead and get this guy. First round pick this year, 5th round pick this year, 6th round pick this year, and a 3rd round pick next year. That's insane. That's a freaking boatload of trade capital. And it's funny because when it broke, I texted Rob. I'm at work. I texted Rob. I said, I saw it. And I said, oh, look at that. The Rams must be just allergic to having first round picks. They're so upset they have one still. They literally had one the last decade, guys, who people may not follow specifically what the Rams do. And they win. They keep on finding ways to win.
Just proves you don't need the number one overall, especially when they keep winning. That number one's not as meaningful as it is when you're top 10.
I've said all along that coaching matters so much more than draft positioning. It's not even funny.
Yeah, look at all our draft picks.
Yeah, we can't develop them. We're shit. But the Rams keep getting guys in the 3rd round that become like all pros. It's just what they do. It's what they do because they actually can develop people. So, you know, it didn't start off as a Giant story, obviously. And then all of a sudden, Sam McDowell of the Kansas City Star on X says the Trent McDuffie trade came down to the Rams and the Giants, I'm told. In the end, the Rams were the team willing to give up a 1st round plus. The Chiefs got a 1, 3, 5, and 6. Really good haul. It's the equivalent of the 2021st overall pick, where KC took McDuffie in 22. I would venture to say it's more than that because their pick, it's a very late pick, you know, they're giving up, obviously. But to get the 3rd round pick next year on top of that, that's pretty good. And you see sometimes people give up like crud picks just to move up a couple spots in the end of the 1st round. That does happen sometimes. That's an insane haul. So what I think is crazy is I see a lot of fans, and it's funny. I see I've already got a couple here. I got Jay saying, I think that's bullshit. Giants aren't in a position to go after him. Before we even got started with the show, Pale Rider says, how do they blow it? The amount of trade capital that was given up was crazy. No way no way would that have been an intelligent decision for the Giants. Again, you have to say I don't know what the Giants were giving up. Look at what Sam McDowell said. In the end, the Rams are the team willing to give up first round plus. So that tells you the Giants weren't going to go out and give a ton of money. Sorry, a ton of money, a ton of draft picks. Like, I have a feeling Kayvon was probably included in the deal.
You would think.
And they probably were like, hey, we'll give you a second round pick in Kayvon Thibodeau. It was probably something along those lines. Again, we're just guessing. We don't know. And that's the thing, is that there's people already saying, oh my God, I can't believe the Giants were in it. And other people going, woo, thank God the Giants didn't get about all that draft capital. The Giants were never giving up all that draft capital, guys.
No.
There's no way in hell they were going to do it. I honestly believe it was Kayvon and probably a second. And they probably wanted
Maybe
to
a
go
fourth.
to number one. And the Giants weren't going to be willing to give up so much. Again, everything's conjecture. We do not know. But I know there's no way in hell that during a rebuild, they're giving up 3 picks this year and 1 pick next year, when they're already down 1 pick this year because of the Jacksonville deal. They weren't going to do it.
And you know what happens when you have a great coach for many of years and you develop players? You got players in the system, in the farm. Your backups are right there to take over other people. So you can give up picks. Yep. You can give away picks.
Yeah. And that's what they're going to do. So listen, great deal for the Chiefs. They got a ton of picks for them. Great deal for the Rams, even though they overpaid. They still got a great player in this league. But what I love about this is this shows the Giants are going to be aggressive this offseason, guys. They're going to be aggressive. And I have no problem whatsoever with the Giants being aggressive with a second corner, because Jay says here, and he's not wrong on paper, they're going to pay him and Adebo $50 million, because we have to pay a ton of money for a guy we got like that. We got to keep in mind we got 1 more year and that's it of Paulson Adebo. So you do a low first year, you go ahead and you bring in a good guy like that, and if Adebo doesn't pan out, you can cut him. And if he does, listen, it's a great problem to have. Oh no, I have to pay 2 corners because they're both playing great.
We haven't had that problem in a long time.
Yeah, it's been a while. Probably the closest to it was when we first got Adoree Jackson, and Bradbury was doing really good that first year with him. But like I said, I think that's something we got to remember, though, is that a lot of people are like, oh my God, they're like, thank God we didn't make that deal giving up all those picks. We weren't giving up all those picks. I guarantee you guys, they weren't giving up 4 picks right now. Wasn't going to happen. The Rams could make it happen, but Giants couldn't. So let's talk about the changes going on at the linebacker position. So official today, but dropped last night, Bobby Okereke was officially cut by the New York Giants. And listen, we've been telling you guys this for how long? That's a good possibility. It's way too much money. I don't think he's been the same since that injury in 24. I really don't. And I don't mean it to be a jerk.
Well, even if he was, that means he's sandbagging for you. And if you're an ownership that's going to pay a guy or try to keep him around or try to save money, and you're looking at the player that's sandbagging.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I'm saying. It was time. I appreciate everything he did. I think he worked as hard as he could after the injury. I think that he busted his hump, especially that first year. It was an amazing year. And, but it was time. It was time. Like I said, in my eyes, he's a stat compiler. The only thing I worry about was that the defense was that the issue when he comes back somewhere else and balls out. And listen, if he does, great. All power to him.
So that was the argument you and I both had about okay, from the get-go when we first started talking about it. But I started leaning towards the problem. Like, you're rebuilding. Why do you want to pay a player like that much?
It's not even as much that as like, why would you pay someone so much money if you weren't sure if it was them or the defense?
Well, that's what I was getting at.
But I'm saying, to me, it's not even like the rebuild age things. I've heard some people mention that. So just to be clear, it's not that you have a question mark, and they're going to pay this question mark a boatload of money. for the linebacker position. Like he's one of the higher paid linebackers in this league.
Yeah,
You know,
that's what I was gonna.
yeah, not Roquan Smith, but he's still getting paid good. So it's just it was time to move on, and I'm going to trust that Harbaugh and his staff had a chance to look at the tape because obviously they had plenty of time to do that, and looked at it and leaned towards it's regardless if it was the injury or not, but it was him and it wasn't the system. And I got no problem with that. He's not, like I said, I haven't been liked what I've seen in the field the last 2 years, so I'm good. As Jay says, I just think they want a lot of turnover just to get the losing out of the walls. Not saying it's Okereke in general, though. It's funny you say that because Okereke had a couple of interceptions towards the end of the year when we're actually winning games. He I don't want to say single-handedly won us games, but it's like you knew, that was one of the bigger plays and 2 different wins that we had later on the season. But again, I just don't think it's there. And we've been talking about that. We're talking about the fact that we think the Giants are going to look to upgrade. And sure enough, today, the mystery NFL insider, I guess is the best way to word him, Ricky Scoops, who's on Big Blue Interactive all the time posting there, but he's posted a lot of places and he's posted a lot of information that's legit. This is the same guy who broke Micah Parsons going to Green Bay. He also broke Harbaugh going to the Giants even. He's broken a lot of things over the years. He's now saying that the Giants are on the verge of trading for a veteran linebacker. Wouldn't specify beyond that. We don't know who it is. Now, that got everybody and their mother throwing names out there.
Of course.
Yes, because that's what people do.
Clickbait.
Here's the names I saw. Tremaine Edmonds, we talked about, for the last couple of weeks. Patrick Queen, because again, he's got the Harbaugh connection before he went to Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh's looking to move on from him probably. And Fred Warner of the 49ers, which I think is a little crazy. I mean, that guy is like a leader of the locker room and everything. I know he got hurt. That's part of it probably. But yeah, I'm not scared about that injury for a guy that's even just bring him in for the winning culture. Now, that was brought up because Art Stapleton had said, hey, I wonder if the 49ers would trade, Fred Warner. And all of a sudden, next thing you know, everything's everywhere going, oh my God, we might get Fred Warner. We might get Fred Warner. That's not what he said. He said, would they? Would they? There's a big difference there. I don't know why that turned into a big thing there. This is why, unfortunately, at times you got to be careful what you say. Now, there's a rumor they want to try to get Dre Greenlaw back from the Broncos, the 49ers. And if they did that, they would go ahead and look to maybe trade Fred Warner. But, again, I see a lot of moving parts, components, and craziness to get to this idea that they might trade him. I don't think it's happening.
It's a lot of working parts.
I don't think Patrick Queen's a guy that I would go and want to get because that contract is ridiculous for what he did. And quite frankly, if Harbaugh wanted to keep him, he would have kept him in Baltimore.
Fair.
And he didn't do that, so why would we think that now all of a sudden he's going to go pay him to bring him back on that same contract that he could have gotten him at in the beginning? Like, just doesn't make sense. And that's why, for me, it's Tremaine Edmonds. And Tremaine Edmonds is the guy that I think fits this very well. I do think that what the Giants want to do, and again, all conjecture, we don't have any information like this, but it just makes too much sense. I do think what the Giants want to do is throw Kayvon in deal. You save $15 million, you bring on a contract that kind of squashes it out there, and you give up a pick or you get a pick depending on which team thinks the other player's better, and you move on.
Let's move on.
I'm telling you right now, I would trade Kayvon straight up for Tremaine Edmonds in a heartbeat, as long as I can get him on an extension. Like, I'm not trading him for 1 year for Kayvon. I might as well kept Kayvon for 1 year.
Yep, and that's what we talked about last week.
Yeah. So, like I said, I think it's an interesting perspective there. And again, I don't know who Ricky Scoops is. No one does. He's like Wes Steinberg, but really gives real information. Like, I don't know how he does it. He's got to be somebody within the NFL. And it's going to be a fun day when he gets called. We find out who it is because it'll probably be somebody nobody expects, basically. But he's got some kind of inside. I know that. I don't know how. I don't know who he is. No one does. But no one. We'll find out. We'll find out if he's right this time. Now, other rumors going on. Again, there's a ton of rumors going on, guys, right now. This is like pre-free agency frenzy going on right now. Paul Schwartz of the New York Post has said on X, running back Devin Singletary is expected to be released, which would create $5.3 million in cap space. Again, we called this a long time ago. It's just being validated that that's what's going to happen. So, then you got Micah McFadden. Micah McFadden is the guy we'd love to hold on to, depending on his medical. It's the one thing we don't know. But the rumor is that he wants to do a 1-year prove-it deal. We talked about getting him maybe for 3 years, $15 million. 3 years, $8 million, whatever, $18 million, whatever. Give him a decent deal, but you don't have to break the bank for him.
Yeah.
Seems like he wants a 1-year prove-it deal has been the rumor, and that's been confirmed by Art Stapleton. He said he talked to him about it, and he said that was the plan because of the big foot injury. He wants to do a 1-year prove-it deal, go back, hit the market again next year, and try to get his big contract then, which makes sense. You're betting against yourself, don't get me wrong. You're betting against yourself. There is a risk. I don't know if I would take it if I was him, honestly. I mean, think about it. He was a day 3 draft pick. It's not like he's made a ton of money. Like, imagine someone goes to you and say, I'm going to pay you 3 years, $15 million or $18 million, whatever. I'm going to give you a $7-8 million guaranteed. I would take that in a heartbeat. If I'm him, I'm set for life at that point.
Without a doubt.
Like, what happens the next injury? And again, I'm not hoping for that, obviously, but you got to sit there and wonder. I mean, what was his contract probably? A couple $1 million?
5, 7.
That's what I'm saying. Not even probably like 4.
Probably right. Yeah.
I'm trying to find him real quick and over the cap. For some reason, it's not working when I look it up. Let's see here. So $3.4 million he made the last year. Let's see if I can find that for you real quick because I wasn't expecting to talk about that, but of course that's the way life goes sometimes. So
we do.
Oh yeah, no, I take it back. 4 years, $4.015 million was his original contract. I said about $4 million. So yeah, that's a lot, but it's not a lot when you're an NFL player. It's not a lot when you look at the fact that half your money goes to taxes, your agent, all that stuff, and that's if you're lucky, just half. Then you're paying taxes. You're paying taxes where you play on top of where you live.
Yeah, you can turn around and walk away with what 1.5, 1.2.
Yeah. It's a risk. Listen, I got no problem with him doing it. It's his risk to take. I'm just not that ballsy. Somebody offers me millions of dollars, I'm taking it, I'm moving on, and I'm going to say, you know what? No matter what happens here, I don't have to worry about this the rest of my life. Like, I'm good set for money. I got $7-8 million that are chilling.
But that's also the thing. So he's also steadily improved year after year.
Yeah.
And he thinks maybe he could prove that he could earn more than that, or maybe he plays the way he did last year and someone offered him the same contract after he made that big make it or break it.
Or in a year or two, he says, rip up the contract, let's get a new one.
Yeah.
I want an extension. Like that happens all the time in the NFL. So like I said, to me, you take the dough when you got the dough. But we'll see. We'll see what happens there. I mean, he knows better than we do how he's healing. So I haven't seen him around town, so I haven't been able to ask him.
Cardell.
All right. So we got a couple more things to go over the rumors wise. Now, we've been talking about the rumor of Kenneth Walker, and that's been hitting big time within Giants, fandom there, which we Still can't fathom why we're going after a big name running back. We already have Tyrone Tracy and Cam Scatterbo, but it is what it is. I can't control these things. Kenneth Walker, we talked about it there. Now, Benjamin Albright, who is with iHeartRadio's Bronco Country Tonight, so one of the bigger Broncos radio shows out there, was asked on X if he thinks that the Broncos would go after Kenneth Walker, which makes sense. J.K. Dobbins, who of course was injury prone as hell and looked really good the first third of the season or whatever. Like, he was their starter. He's going to be gone. They're probably not going to re-sign him. So it makes sense they'd want to go after a running back. Here's one that you've seen the biggest stage and perform well. He came out and said, "I suspect he's headed to the Giants."
Interesting.
That's what he said word for word. Now, keep in mind, he probably doesn't have Giants connections. He probably has the Broncos connections. And I'm sure the Broncos know through the grapevine what's going on Walker, because, listen, we could talk. I call this like the illegal tampering period. Like, don't think for a second that people are waiting till the legal tampering period to start making conversations happen.
Oh,
like that's not the way it happens. So, it's supposed to happen that way, but it just doesn't. So, by the way, legal tampering does start Monday for those who are unaware. So keep in mind, great time to go ahead and hit that like and the thumbs up while you're at it too, but the subscribe and all for us there, because we're going to be having a potential crazy schedule next week. Just fair warning for everybody there. I think almost every free agency year we've ended up doing like one a day the whole week almost, it seems like. So, and I expect the Giants to be very, very busy. I really think they're going to max out every bit of money they need to do whatever they want to do. That's the only way you make any sense out of them going after McDuffie, who you have to pay a ton of money to, and Kenneth Walker, who, while a running back, you don't have to pay him as much. It's still going to be a lot of money for a running back. It's not going to be cheap.
Yeah,
plus maybe
got Super Bowl money.
Edmonds, who's going to have a big contract too. So and there's all kinds of rumors of things going on with them. So I expect this to be pretty busy with them. So, but again, Kenneth Walker sounds like that might be legit. I know a lot of the the Giants beat reporters share that out afterwards. I'm not going to pretend to know what kind of sources this guy has, but I think that it sounds more and more like a plausible thing. I'll put it that way. And I wouldn't be shocked if Monday we're sitting here talking and we say, "Yep, we signed Kenneth Walker." Like, I really think it's that plausible. Which, if you asked me just a couple of days ago, I said, "That's freaking crazy. Are you kidding me?" We're going crazy.
Yeah,
crazy. It is what it is. Like, that's word is there. So, another name that the Giants have been linked to by prognosticators of free agency here, I guess we'll say, Mike Evans. Again, we still don't know what's going to happen. He's going to leave Tampa Bay. He's going to go elsewhere. Where would you want to go? But Jonathan Jones of the NFL on CBS on X said, "It is still early, but Houston and Kansas City don't seem to be in on Mike Evans, according to sources. If Evans does not return to Tampa Bay, keep an eye on the Bills, 49ers, Commanders, and Giants." So here's my issue. First off, why the hell would the Chiefs not want to get in on Mike Evans?
They must know something we don't know.
Like, that's insanity.
I have to go back and forth because I feel like they're doing pretty much what the Patriots did for close to 2 decades with Tom Brady. Is you go ahead, you're not going to pay a top flight receiver. You're going to go ahead and get some good receivers, but you're not going to pay a Mike Evans. The team of everyone that thinks where he may go, I think he goes to the Bills.
Yeah.
Although Sean McDermott's no longer there.
You want to put it in the cold weather, that's the issue.
Probably not. Who does?
Yeah.
Especially if he's been injured the past couple of years. Do you really want to feel those aching pains at that age?
Yeah, I don't even know if he's got much left in the tank, to be honest with you guys. Again, living here in Tampa Bay and dealing with a lot of seeing that. I look at what's been going on with him the last couple of years, and I feel like I've seen a little bit of the signs that you start seeing of people when they start aging. Like he's definitely not been quite himself. I mean, he's done it before where he's barely hit 1,000 yards. So I don't want to sit there and say like that's the issue. But it just seemed like he struggled to get that 1,000 yards in 24 much more than he had in years past. Again, he did it in 14 games. It was a last-minute thing, but because he had a little bit of nagging injuries then as well. But now you lost half the season, basically. He was in 8 games, at 368 yards. He's going to be 33 this season, guys.
Yeah, it's not the guy I'm going to want to pay. He's probably going to want a buttload of money. And
it's not even that. Here, let me put this to you. Let's say he's here. You build up rapport. You get him and Jackson Dart going. He's a good number 2 to go along with Malik Neighbors, obviously, a potential number 1 while we're waiting for Neighbors and everything to kind of get healthy. Would you want to have a guy there that's going to build that rapport and then a year or 2 later retire? He's not part of the long-term answer at 33.
No, not physically. The reason why you bring a guy on like that is veteran leadership. So when you have a young wide receiver class, you bring in a guy that's done it quite often through his career, has been that guy, and develop skills with the other receivers around him and help them learn to make those players better with Jackson Dart down the future. So when you said that the money part doesn't mean anything, 100% it means everything, because if he's going to cost you $20 million, you're going to say, hell no, we're not going to pay that. But if he turns around and says, hey, I'll take $4.5 million, would you sign him?
I think my issue is I want the young guys with a chance to play. I want the young guys to go ahead and develop. And I think that having a guy who's 33 years old, having a couple issues injury-wise, I'm starting to see some trailing down. I don't know if I want that.
This come from the guy that wanted to bring back Shepard.
I bring back Shepard as like a 4th receiver. There's a big difference.
There's
a huge difference there. And you got to know I'm right on that one. There's a big difference between bringing back Shepard to be your number 4 receiver.
What was the last time Shepard had 1,000 yards? When was the last time Shepard had multiple 1,000-yard?
Again, Shepard is not a guy we're relying on to be number 2. We were to bring him back. If you bring back Mike Evans, you're saying to me he's number 2, and I'm not re-signing Wan'Dale Robinson. That's what you're telling me, probably.
No, because once again, you said the money part doesn't matter. It 100% matters. Because once again, if he comes around and says he wants $20 million to play for a 1-year contract, you're going to tell him to go kick rocks. 100%. But if he says, hey, you know what? $4 million, I'll play for you.
Yeah,
you want to say
$4 million, sure.
So don't tell me the money part doesn't mean anything, because 100% you just proved me wrong, right? Proved me right there.
But he's not going to sign for $4 million. That's not going to happen. No one's going. Saying, you know what I want to do? I want to go play for the Giants.
I'm not saying he's coming to Giants. I'm just trying to say you bring a guy like that in to help the younger class.
Yeah,
it's just him being in the locker room. The teacher's like, hey, this is what I did. You know what? I had 10 years at 1,000 yards. You know what I did every year? I did this.
That's like
I never took.
This is like saying we could pay $5 for Pat McAfee to come on the show with us.
He might.
You got to work in the realm of realisticness. He's not coming for $4 million.
I threw a number out there because I just want to throw it in a boxy to say money doesn't matter.
You could have.
I was just throwing it out there because I could have said veteran minimum.
I'm just saying,
you
know damn well he's not going for anything less than, I would even say $10 million. I'd be shocked.
Probably.
And it's funny, Mike just said that 1 year, $10 million. I'll do what he says. But that's the lowest number I think you could see him potentially going for. And you know what? 1 year, $10 million. If I don't get Wan'Dale, maybe, back, maybe that's something I think about. But I'd rather have Wan'Dale here long term than 1 year or 2 years of Mike Evans.
Agreed.
Is he a backup plan option? Maybe. Again, depending what you think of Pierce, because Pierce obviously is much younger. I don't think Pierce necessarily fits the offense very well, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not high on him. My concern is he's going to be the guy that somebody else signs. He's going to have 300 yards next year, and you're like, God damn, he's toast.
Yeah, and then
This is
that
like the
following year,
Giants signing Brandon Marshall all over again. You know what I mean? Like,
and that following year is when the Giants can sign him.
yeah, like that's what I'm worried about. That's what I feel like I'm going to see. I'm going to see Brandon Marshall here all over again, and I'm good. I don't need to see that. Don't need to see it. So, plus, I don't think if he's the guy that brings us over that edge to be a winning team again, there's other guys just as good, much younger.
Are you talking talent-wise? You're talking about experience-wise? Because
I'm not.
the other guys are not going to have the experience.
Like 33 years old, he's got more experience than anybody.
Well, that's part of his value.
It's part of his concern and his value.
As long as he's not number 2, number 1 and number 2.
Who does number 2 work for?
New York Giants.
All right, we got one more story we'll get to before we hit the commercials here, because I see everybody talking about this like crazy, and it's funny because I saw the one comment here saying, basically that JMS being, formidable. And I'm wondering, did that come off of one of our things that we made through AI? Listen, our descriptions all are AI, but I'll tell you that point blank. So we just pop the notes in and it makes it for us. See, even Rob's AI. We lost Rob. There he is. Anyway, but yeah, so we are looking still at getting as well as getting Linderbaum now. That is something still that we're looking at. It looks like that the Giants are big time still in at the potential of getting Linderbaum. And you heard the Ravens already talk about they've already extended him a massive offer. You're hearing over $20 million now for this guy. I'm telling you, like I cannot no. I'm not as big a fan of this at the money I'm hearing. I was okay with it around the $18 million mark. Once we got to the number we got to now, it's over $20 million. I want nothing to do with this whole Tyler Linderbaum thing. I want nothing to do with it, because here's why I'm saying it. I'm seeing a lot of y'all going, oh, we need him because having a great blocker in front of Jackson Dart would be amazing. Let me give you this again, just for shits and giggles here. JMS, who I know a lot of y'all don't like. I think he had a better year this year to improve, but again, it wasn't necessarily difficult. I think he became kind of an average center right now. His pass blocking grade, 60.9. Not great. Not horrendous, but not great, obviously. Linderbaum, 63.4. So we want to go ahead and give this guy over $20 million a year for 3 points on the PFF scale. Again, I know PFF's not everything. I'm trying to give you guys a tangible stat here. It's hard to give you stats on pass blocking. It's not something that's everywhere. I don't think that's worth it. Now, to be fair, if you're talking pass blocking, you're talking going from a 62.8 to an 83.7. Massive difference. Night and day difference. But if our whole point of trying to get a line together is to protect Jackson Dart, which should be the number one priority, then Linderbaum's not doing that. And we're spending over $20 million to run the ball better. Plus, we're getting Kenneth Walker potentially to run the ball better. I don't see it there. Like I said, I'm not anti Linderbaum. I just don't think he's worth that kind of money. I really don't. I honestly think he's going to be the guy that somebody's going to pick up. And like, oh, what the hell? Why? Maybe this was a bad signing. I'm not going to say he's like the next Nate Solder at center here, but I feel like he only fits specific schemes. He's not a plug-and-play center that can play anywhere. The way he plays is different. A lot more motion and everything. And I do think that that's a good part of it. Now, we'll bring this up because Money Mike just put this, and it's a fair statement to say. He said, to be fair, Linderbaum, literally the good lineman for the Ravens, that could affect his pass blocking. He was surrounded by crap, is what he's saying, basically, guys. And I do not dispute this whatsoever. I will just say it's not like JMS was surrounded by gold either. Runyon, I'm not a fan of personally. Greg Van Roden is the epitome of average, which is fine because he's a very cheap player for average. I'll take it. But yeah, like I said, Linderbaum definitely played around some crappy talent. I just don't know if he's worth it. But here's the quote that came out, and the quote actually came from Jordan Raanan when he was on the Breaking Big Blue podcast. He said, Giants are seriously in the mix on Linderbaum. Vegas is expected to be in there, and the Browns are a team to watch as well. I find it crazy that they even talk about the Ravens. Again, the Ravens made a massive offer is what they're saying. They didn't get into particulars, but all the rumors are it's over $20 million a year. I don't, like I said, I don't see that guy being worth it. I would rather go pick up another right tackle or re-sign Illuminor. I think that's going to help Jackson Dart a whole lot more. I really do. I think that's the move to make. Is go ahead and shore up the end of the lines there, so to speak. Braden Smith is the guy that I would sign in a heartbeat, and I would sign him over Linderbaum. And it's crazy, guys. I've been one of the guys saying, "Let's bring Linderbaum. Let's bring Linderbaum. Let's bring him." But the money's insane. Money might say $22 million they offered him. I was saying, let's bring him at 18. The Ravens offered him $22 million. So what would you have to pay him to get him? To come to New York, to leave Baltimore? Assuming he wants to stay there. We don't know that, obviously. Maybe he wants to play for Harbaugh. Maybe we have an upper hand. We don't know. We legit don't know. But let's say hypothetically we got to beat that to get him. You want to pay $25 million to a center that can't pass block? That's what you're getting at that point. I would so much rather get Braden Smith for that. And I don't think he's going to cost $23 million. Again, assuming we lose Illuminor, because I've been saying all along, I do think we lose him to the Tennessee Titans. I think he follows Priscilla there. But Braden Smith, I think, is a better guy. And he's got, by the way, a pass block grade of 71.9. It's above average. Not amazing, but it's above average. I think that's the move to go. So, I think that's the way we should do it. But again, that's not up to me, obviously. It's also not not up to Joe Shane or GM either. It's up to his boss, John Harbaugh, and Steven says Braden Smith's going to get close to 20 easy. That's fine. I'm not saying not to pay money. This is not me saying let's go coupon shopping, as Jay likes to accuse me of doing. What I'm saying is go spend the money smart. Go get a guy who's a legit tackle, a solid veteran tackle, a guy that can pass block, a guy that'll shore up that end of the line. You already have a center that is a capable starter. Is he amazing? No. But he's a capable starter. Why are we plugging holes? And this is the same problem I have with the Kenneth Walker thing, for the record. Why are we plugging holes that we don't have?
Yeah, we're walking around the locker room. Well, imagine you're in your house, right? You're walking on your floorboard, right? You're in one room. There's holes everywhere, but there's a creak in another room. What part are you going to fix first? You're going to fix the part with the holes. Yes. Fix the creaks later.
As you should.
Yes. Like JMS is a creak.
Should. And this is the crazy part about it. I look at what's going on with this team, and again, I'm trying to have faith in Harbaugh. And it's the nervousness because I feel like as Giants fans, we've been screwed over for so many years by this team just not running itself right. But I'm trying to be optimistic, but I'm like, God damn. We're going there. We don't have a ton of cap space right now. Can we get some 100%? but we don't have a ton right now, and we're going to go ahead and get a center that's going to be paid more money than any center in the history of the NFL.
Yeah.
And by the way, he's not a good pass blocker.
And who do you want to protect?
Yeah. And by the way, we've had, how many concussions did Jackson Dart have last year? 2 or 3 that we know of?
Yeah.
How many times do you go to the medical tent? I mean, technically,
More
Linderbaum
times.
would probably help him because he'd be running in front of him for run blocking for that. But maybe I'm not making my best case with that part. I'm just saying.
Fair.
I think that I just think that it's not there, and I don't think that that's the guy. I just don't. I think the guy is go get a Luminor back if you want him. Go get Braden Smith instead to replace the Luminor. That's the right place to spend the money. That's the right place. Not paying over $22 million for a center. Not the way I would do it. We'll see. Again, I'm trying to have faith in Harbaugh. And I want to have blind faith. I just can't do it.
I get maybe there's a scheme that we don't understand.
And that's what I'm saying.
I get that, and I'm agreeing. Like, but to spend that much extra money, like what you also have, I guess, what you can make the argument too is like you bring, him in, and you take JMS, and you're like, hey, guess what? You're moved over as guard. You're a backup of both these positions for next year.
Yeah.
And then you have a solid backup in both positions, but it just, I don't know.
Yeah, I just don't know what the plan is. It's like, but like, what if like all of a sudden we re-sign Illuminor and Wandale, we bring in Linderbaum, we go ahead and get Tremaine Edmonds, we go ahead and sign ourselves like Tariq Woolen, like now we're not so upset we got Kenneth Walker, right? Like, and that's part of the thing. We don't know the whole plan. We're just hearing pieces of the plan. So that's why I keep saying I'm trying to have faith in what the plan is, because I don't know the whole plan. I don't pretend to know the whole plan, nor do I want to know the whole plan, because I know it's in the Giants' best interest me not to know the plan. Because if I know the plan, everyone knows the plan.
100%. Which
I
means
will run my mouth
31 other teams know the plan.
Yeah,
because they all listen to this podcast.
That's what it means. So yeah, we're good. We're good there. But again, I just had to put it out there because that's the rumor. So who knows? Maybe I think Linderbaum's going to sign pretty early. I really do. But and Jay hit the nail on the head. There's a lot of anxiety because we have lots of important needs. Damn straight.
100%.
Damn straight. So
like he said earlier, are we going to pay $50 million to a center? Oh, how much is Luminor? Like, how much you want to spend on him? Oh, you want a top flight receiver? How much you going to spend on him? I was going to get rid of Okereke. How much you going to spend on his replacement? Like, Grant cheaper than Okereke, but like, we're just going to make all these moves and just expect to pay $500,000 here, $500,000 there, $250,000 here. What's the cap again? Oh, did I just spend it?
Yeah. And Money Mike's is Braden Smith better than McGovern? I mean, honestly, they're kind of similar. One's still a center, though, obviously. One's at right tackle. But here's the bigger issue. Let's say, hypothetically, you sign Linderbaum. You don't have the money to re-sign Illuminor. You don't have the money to replace Illuminor. What are we doing? Marcus Bell at right tackle?
Yeah.
That's my biggest concern with this thing. So, again, I'm trying to have faith right now, guys. I'm trying to have the faith.
How's JMS at right tackle?
There you go. I played guard before. Let's move to the tackle.
Yeah.
Oh my God. He'll be the next Josh Azudu like that. We'll just move him over to tackle. Makes sense. Makes
100%.
Dorothy says the plan seems to be let Greg Roman cook and keep Dart upright. Seems a good plan to me rather than pay Wandale. Again, here's the problem though, is if you don't get Wandale, hypothetically, you need someone to replace him. You have a hobbled Neighbors. You have a Slayton that has not looked as good the last 2 years. You have a guy in Theo Johnson who seems to go ahead and not wear receiving gloves and cover his hands in Crisco instead. Like, it's just, you can't keep doing that. You need someone to throw the ball to him. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, again, you can maybe the plan is solve that in the draft hypothetically if you did this kind of thing like Dorothy's saying, just go ahead and worry about that line, worry about the running game, and figure out the rest as you go. But
Yeah, listen, if you
yeah.
give dart protection, let him cook. It's pretty
Let
simple.
him
Like
cook.
he had Neighbors, what, one game last year, a game and a quarter, a third, if you will, and then Wandell had his best season yet. So yeah, I
Yeah.
can see like you just bring in so like I can see the idea. I don't agree with it, but I see the idea of like, oh, you know what? Let's go get some Zaya Hodgins kind of character.
You said let him cook, so I had to go and put the let him cook shirt link in the
100%.
chat.
100%.
Listen, nothing better than Jackson Dart in a chef's hat and an apron like that. It's hilarious. So let him cook. So, but like I said, I don't know. I think we need
Yeah.
somebody else.
And
money might
that's
just be
also
likely.
what I was getting at too, Jay, was the reason he had the best season because there's no one else to throw to. He was the best receiver because every time you threw to Slayton or Theo, guess what happened? Oopsie, dropsies. You had Belgy, you had
Yeah, you
Belly,
kept throwing
a
to him.
couple yep. But you also had Belger that had a couple games where he looked really good and he was absent the next game. So Wanda was the only trusted guy you could throw to.
Here's the
So
thing,
you
I'm gonna say that. You know that. Again, we were talking before about how the free agency plan. If we know things, and it's not just us connecting dots, if we know things, that means every other team in the NFL does. So every single team went and get, I have to stop Wan'Dale Robinson. If I stop Wan'Dale Robinson, they have nobody to throw the ball to except for Butterfingers himself, Theo Johnson.
yeah.
And they couldn't do it. This is the same guy, by the way, who when he played in college was the guy they were trying to stop in the SEC because he was the only big weapon they really had at Kentucky. They couldn't do it there. I'm just saying, I think you have a valid point. He was the only one to throw to. But I think you got to play devil's advocate on the other side and say, you know what? Yes, he was the only one to throw to, but the NFL teams playing us knew that too.
You do. But I'm just saying your Wandell is like he's the Robin. We talked about it all the time. Like you get rid of him 100%. Like who do we throw to go back to
Yeah.
the original point? Because Neighbors, like, yes, everyone says Neighbors, Neighbors, Neighbors. Guess what? You got to give him to at least week 6, week 8 to be like what he was when he came back. Because it's unfair to say, oh, you're young and you're just coming off a really tough injury, but week 1, because it happened early last year, you should be 100% healthy.
I'm going to throw this at you. We talk about this on the show quite often. We talk about
Steve.
Lamar Jackson. We say Lamar Jackson can't throw to receivers. He throws to tight ends. Like, there's no receiver really besides Zay Flowers has really flourished with this guy. And he's had his bigger names, obviously, at the end of their career, but he's had bigger name receivers. He's had, Hollywood Brown. He's had the end of OBJ. He's had DeAndre Hopkins. Like, he's had guys there. And they don't seem to succeed. Let me throw this at you. What if it's not Lamar Jackson? What if it's the offense that they've been running? Because we also got to keep in mind Greg Roman, his old OC, is now our run game coordinator. We have Matt Nagy, who likes to throw short routes and he likes to throw to tight ends and running backs.
Very, very.
Is that going to hurt Neighbors as well? Like, are we looking at Neighbors as like if he's going to be a production guy like he was his rookie year? And is that the wrong way to look at him?
No, because he was also a yak guy a little bit. Like
no, I'm not saying that bad. Let me be very clear on that.
I know you're not, but when you're throwing short dump passes, because you're not going to throw the bomb to the tight end or your slot guy, but if you throw, just like Steve just said in the comments, like put Neighbors in the slot, guess what? You catch it at 6 yards and you turn it 16.
But what I'm getting at is he going to be more of a 1,000-yard guy with no chance to be a 1,300-yard guy? You know what I'm saying? And if that's the case, you need more receivers because they're going to throw the ball around. And they're not going to throw it to one guy. That's not what they've done.
I mean, Neighbors is also a different talent than most of those guys. He should be. Let's see how he comes back off injury. But, like, he has the ability to be that guy where you could trust in a deep, situation where you can still throw that dink dunk thing and he still make 1,300 yards because you may throw it 20 yards and he may get 40 yards and do that twice a game.
Yeah.
So, and he might do that 5 times in the season.
We shall see. Now, we do also have to go over a couple other comments here. BMM Seagow says, BM McGow. Okay. Oof. Need spaces. I don't know who should put spaces on the ads for people. He says, would you trade the 5th pick to the Chiefs, pick 9, and their 3rd round if they came calling? I think, again, not to beat the dead horse. I say this every time somebody asks a draft question, but it's the honest truth. It depends what's there at 5. It really does. Depends on what's there. But I think you got to give me more than the 3rd round pick to do that. I'll throw this to you. I want both Chiefs 1st round picks. And I'll go ahead and give you the 1st round pick, and I'll give you a 4th round pick.
Yeah.
I would do that. Sense. I would do that. I think it's got to be that kind of thing for me to move back to the 9 for the Chiefs. It's got to be something worth it. Now, again, if nobody's there, I like it at 5, and I'm nobody there, I'm in love with it. This is the guy I want to get. This is the one. Then, yeah, maybe I consider it for a 3rd.
Yeah, I agree with you, buddy. I'm not trading a 5 just for a 3rd.
Yeah, it just seems low. It just does. It really does. Though I'm telling you this right now. The Chiefs now with 2 picks. There's 2 beast wide receivers in this draft. What do they needed? A wide receiver.
Then they get 2.
Or think about this, Jeremiah Love on the Chiefs. Just saying.
Jeremiah Love.
There's just a lot of sense to them moving down. There really is. So keep an eye on that. Watch that draft night. Regardless if it's us or somebody else, I would not shock me at all to see them try to trade down like that because they got the picks to do it now. So, all right, guys, before we get to the next topic here, got to remind everybody, of course, that I lost Rob. I lost him.
Threw me out of there, bro.
Listen, you keep pressing buttons on me.
I touched absolutely nothing.
We'll get into that later. Yeah. We do, of course, have the way to support the show there at buymeacoffee.com/2giantgoofballs. Unless you make one-time payments, you can buy us beers, as well as also do monthly supports there. A new thing we're doing, and this is going to be a new thing overall that we've never done on the show here. But we're also going to go ahead and do a full-on draft guide this year. That's going to be specifically geared toward Giants fans there. And we'll drop the link in the chat there for that. There's a couple of people that we are going to send it to automatically. So if you think you might be one of those, don't buy it. If you think you're one of those we don't send it to, you might be very disappointed.
Hey, we're sorry.
You might be ticking people off. So, but like I said, we will start doing that there. And that'll be over 200 players that we're going to be doing the draft analysis on here. It's going to be, like I said, specifically catered towards the Giants. How do these people fit within the Giants organization? That kind of stuff. So definitely check that out there it's buymeacoffee.com/2giantgoofballs/draft guide for those that are on the audio there. And of course, we also have, and hopefully lost the button again. So we'll stop hitting buttons. We also have, of course,
touch absolutely nothing.
You did. We'll get to that later because I already know what you did, why that happened. 2giantgoofballs-shop.fourthwall.com, where you can go ahead and support the show with t-shirts, pins, mugs, travel cups, towels, all kinds of fun stuff there. We gave the Let 'em Cook earlier before. That's also was part of that collection. You see that on the screen now if you're on the video. And of course, those that do $100 or more on the Goofball store there, go ahead and get free shipping as well there. So, all right, let's get back here. Let's get back to it. Adding another thing into the mix, that thing's taking longer to do now. All right, we got some other non-free agents and stuff like that there. So the Giants are apparently going to be the training camp, at least the first couple weeks, in West Virginia.
West Virginia.
We're going John Denver.
A little bit. We haven't done a sing along.
Oh
my god, he was ready for it.
Honestly, I wasn't even for that. Actually, when I got this, I just realized one of my my things is gone off there. That's a record somebody made into a Giants emblem there with the helmet and all, and it came in. When they sold it in random record.
John
things.
Denver.
So John Denver was the one that happened to be there. That's funny that happened. Anyway. So the New York Post was the first ones to report this, but the Giants will be holding their first 2 weeks of training camp in West Virginia at the Greenbrier Resort located in White Sulphur Spring, which that's not a West Virginia name. White Sulphur Spring. Goddamn. So the Saints, the Texans, and the Browns have also done camp there previously in the past. The Giants are doing it because of two things. One, they're doing construction on the Giants facility. I don't know if that was part of the Harbaugh deal or what the deal is there, but they're doing construction still on that stuff. Plus, on top of that, we have World Cup action still at MetLife as well. So it's kind of made that whole area a little bit of a cluster. So first couple weeks, they will be there. Now, doing that in West Virginia was already the plan, just to give you a heads up. It hasn't been announced. From what I'm hearing, it's been the plan for a while. This is not a Harbaugh thing. This is not a Harbaugh saying, let's hit the road and get rid of distractions. I heard people saying that afterwards. No, this was the Giants planning this because they literally couldn't use their facility because of the construction, because of the World Cup there. So, I just, to me, I think it's a much ado about nothing. I'm seeing a lot of people talk about it. I'm like, I don't know. Like, is this really that big of a thing?
Yeah. I don't think it's that big of a thing.
If anything, I'm a player. I'm excited. See someone new. See something new like that. Go do something I haven't done before.
Especially young players. You go somewhere you maybe have never been before.
Yeah. I mean, this thing is like ridiculous though, by the way. Like, I'm gonna try to put it up real quick. I wasn't planning on this, but I do happen to have. I just downloaded a picture of this place. It looks like the governor's mansion of West Virginia, but with windows. Oh. Look at that. That's fancy.
State.
That's fancy.
What kind of service do you think is over there?
Oh, I don't know, but I'm guessing that they have a lot of landscapers.
And Grey Poupon.
But yeah, like I said, much ado about nothing in my eyes, but people like to talk about it. Giants made another hiring. So Giants have hired Mike Nobler to be their football video operations. It's a director of football video operations. Now, we apparently haven't had much of a video staff in this building, which is just insane to me. Like, what's the first thing you tell players to do when things are going rough? Watch the tape.
Yeah.
Apparently, we've only had two people doing tape, and I'm very, very undersized compared to the rest of the NFL. So they got a new guy. He's going to be the head of that department. It's not going to be a takeaway. He's going to be just a third guy to do that now. He's been running the Dolphins video operations there for the last 11 years. So some experience. So, we'll see. It can't hurt the team. That's for sure. I would hope not, unless he gives them the wrong one. Oh, I need a tape of the Eagles. We're playing them next week. Okay, here you go. This is Porky's. Why are we at Porky's here? What's going on here?
I mean, you have to give the guy the pass. Like, that team has, in the past decade, they've played better than they have in the past, 15 years prior, except for the past couple of years because, which is not his fault. Tua's been super concussed, and he can watch all the tape he wants, but when you forget it on the field, it's not his fault. Yeah,
well, it's also, again, he just gets you the tape ready. He doesn't actually do much with it besides that. So yeah, and Dorothy says, "Does a good video director of video operations claim the team should switch to Betamax?" Do you realize how confused you'd be with a bunch of mid-20-year-olds talking about Betamax to them? That's like pre-VHS. They probably barely know what VHS is. Goddamn. Like, next thing you know, tell them to put an 8-track on.
What is this thing?
How many songs does this hold?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Small news, but I know everybody's been talking about it here to a certain degree, so we'll bring it up. Abdul Carter apparently is going to be changing his number again. We don't know what. He went on X and said, new number coming soon. It's been a time 51. So we're expecting him to change his
51 and a half.
number. Yeah. Well, no, people have been wondering if it's going to be 58 because of Okereke being cut. I don't know.
Yeah.
Honestly, I could care less. I care about the win number. That's all I care about. Your number on your jersey does not affect that. I do not give a damn. And the fact that he keeps trying to talk about this so much concerns me, to be honest. I don't care. Go train.
Yeah.
I don't give a damn. You know, Money Mike's going to take it. We'll see. One last bit of interesting nugget of news here, and I haven't heard a lot of people talking about this one because, quite frankly, Mike Francesca doesn't have quite the same pull he used to have. I'll put it that way. But he's got a YouTube podcast now that he's walked away from WFAN like 10 times. And he's talking about Joe Shane. And listen, anybody who knows, Mike Francesca knows that he's been contentious with a lot of people over the years. Is that a good way to put it?
That's safe.
Fair. So for him to be ripping on Joe Shane is just hilarious to me. Like, I want Joe Shane to go back at him and throw a peanut butter jelly sandwich at him or something. Like, I want to. that's what I want to see. I want to see these two duke it out. But anyway, Francesca says, if there's ever a guy trying too hard who's going to be hung on his own words, if he doesn't watch it, it's Shane. I mean, listen, he's still there. He survived. He amazingly survived. You're a flunky GM, was lucky to have a job. Okay, maybe you can salvage that career. Maybe you can. But you know what? You can't compare to what John Harbaugh has done. You can't win that fight. And to talk about, I'm the leader of the football operation. No, you're not. This is John Harbaugh's football operation. This is John Harbaugh's team. It is his franchise. He now runs it except for ownership. He only answers to ownership. He ain't wrong, guys.
No.
He ain't wrong. So, yeah. I just love that, like I said, because Francesca's that guy that, like, you may not agree with everything he says. He may be very grumpy at times, but he's got that New York bluntness.
That's very fair. Like, he's very grumpy, but it's the New York vibe. And I see Jay in the comments 100% agree with this guy, which AM radio in the New York area, bro. Like, it's for
Mike
decades.
And the Mad Dog.
Yeah.
Sports Radio 66. WFAN. I remember that nonstop. I used to go ahead and listen to that stuff as a kid with my dad in the car. Remember that?
Oh, I used to be up early in the morning, going to my old vacuum sales job, and just listen to them.
There it goes.
Yeah. And he didn't care who he insulted or said bad about.
Am I the only one who still finds it weird to see the Mad Dog on ESPN and all?
A little bit.
It's weird. It's weird.
It's a little weird.
It's weird. Like, especially because he looks the same now as he did 35 years ago.
Is it AI, bro?
No, he never was. He just looked old when he was young, apparently.
So he's looking good for his age now?
I guess. I don't know how you word that, but I feel like I didn't even realize how young he was when he was young. You know what I mean? It's kind of like Steve Martin. You think he's been 60 for like 30 years now.
Yeah, well, he also looks 60 at 30, so
that's what I'm saying. Dorothy says, I miss Steve Summers. He was the best. Yes, the schmooze was the best. You know what it was? He had the coolest radio voice too, Steve Summers. Beyond the fact that I liked the way he talked, like what he said. You know, I like the way he treated people. He treated people with respect. But he had his coolest voice. He had a voice built for radio. 100%. But but yeah, like I said, he's up there in age. He wanted to retire, and I never blame somebody for wanting that. So I've wanted to retire now for about 43 years and running now. So
Let's go. You were working. We were born in Taiwan when you
yes
came out just working.
I was making iPhones before iPhones were a thing. All right, guys. Well, that's gonna call it a night for us. Again, we'll be back tomorrow night for you guys. If you haven't already, guys, so hit that thumbs up for me real quick. Like I said, that really does help the show a lot. Welcome back, everybody that's over in X, by the way, because X apparently has finally fixed itself. Forever, we haven't been able to post to X where it actually posts to X. But it's I don't know. It is what it is. Elon fixed it or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. So we're happy to have
SpaceX.
you all back there. So we're back tomorrow. One of two things is going to happen. We either have more rumors and news for you guys there. What's going to happen next week is Monday hits the legal tampering period. They're starting at noon on Monday, or we're going to finally start doing a little bit of draft coverage there before the actual free agency starts. Again, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe, ring that bell on YouTube, because next week's going to be a cluster. We have no clue when we're recording. So always, it's usually Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern. We don't know this week, guys, because as usually that week, what we do is whenever something happens, we just come on that night. So expect us Monday, because something will happen. But like I said, we'll show up every single day because the Giants keep doing free agents because we can't draft worth shit. But we'll see what happens. So keep posted, guys. So we'll see you guys though definitely tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard. As always, we are live on YouTube, the preferred platform, along with, of course, Facebook, Twitter /X, Twitch, and of course Rob's favorite,
Drew's LinkedIn profile.
My LinkedIn profile. And of course, as always, we're available the next day on all the audio podcast platforms: Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Pandora, all the big ones there. And the video upload will happen within 24 hours on Spotify as well. So again, we'll see you guys tomorrow night. Appreciate you guys for watching, giant supporting the show as always. And as always, Giant fans,
Thanks for listening to Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. We appreciate your support.
Thanks so much.
Please, I'm begging you. Please subscribe.